Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's not syncing here. It's always something. All right, we'll just go with this one for today. Aloha. All right. What is going on in crypto land? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let's get this show on the road. Recording is started, and we are good. All right, so a couple different situations on the on the Bitcoin chart because you see this sideways trending channel here. Let me get rid of this. This is the most recent little W that we had down here that we did break back up above and come to the top of the channel. In the Discord group, I shared this, which is more of a downward trending channel like this, where we broke out and came and we are down retesting at the moment. So let's just look at it from this point of view for a second. A couple different things happen. It could be trending sideways for a bit still, or we are actually just coming down to retest this. Depending on where you put your lines, obviously, if you touch the tops of these wicks here where we wicked up to, we hit this, we went through, bounced as support, fell back through, hit resistance, 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 support, come up, retest that line, and then bounce as support again. Will we bounce? Let me just change the color of this. Will we bounce and go back up and then break through this and be off to the races? Or are we falling back to the bottom of this channel? Either could happen, but I gave a signal to go long here on the breakout. Actually, it was a breakout and retest. Of course, we could fall below this and retest this down here. But I did give a signal to go long because on the breakout and retest, I think I had it like right here to be more precise. We broke out and retested, and we were climbing to make a higher high. So to me, that was an indication. And not only that, but that's just Bitcoin. If we look at Ethereum and XRP, Ethereum is doing something pretty interesting. This is the Bitcoin chart right now. It looks to me like we did break out of a downward trending resistance. We do have support. We do have a floor here at 116.5 or so. We came below that, created the W, and then broke back above. And then we broke out of this downward trending resistance, and that's what we're retesting right now. It is possible that we come down further, and this is just a false pump here where we actually did make a higher high, higher than this high right here. We did not get higher than this one here, but we do need to get above this level, the 128, which I believe I did say in my post. Maybe I didn't. Up here I did. Broke above the downward trending resistance. Looks like the next level of resistance will be the 119.5, then the 128 level, first green line. First green line, we need to get above. We did get up to it, but we did not break above it. we hit it, and then we're coming back down. And then obviously right here is the 128 level. Waiting to see if it bounces at these levels and then drops going into Sunday, or if it breaks above and holds as support. To me, it broke above on this signal. It did break above. It did get above this high. It just did not hold the support yet, and is coming down to retest right now. This is the projection way up here in the 128 zone on that breakout. Well, let's go back and look at why I think that. Let's look at this. I'm looking at Ethereum as the new catalyst. And Ethereum's doing some strange stuff. Go to a higher time frame. So on the higher time frame on the daily, we got Ethereum coming up to all-time highs, going all the way back to March of 2024. Not all-time highs, but we're coming up to $4,000. We drop in a lower widening channel here, where the bottom's getting lower and lower and lower, but the top is staying the same. Every time we hit this top, we come up here and hit this resistance. Now, we were hitting this resistance right now, or we're almost there, if not. I thought we might even be breaking through it. If I put this where I think it should be, which would be right about there. Let me zoom in and see. Yeah, I would say we had resistance, resistance, support, support, and then we broke back through resistance. Resistance, 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 resistance. And resistance, resistance, broke through, fell back through, resistance, resistance, just broke through, support, support, and fell through. I would say that's where the line is. So let's go to where we're at right now. We hit it, resistance, 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 fell back below, came down and retested this level, climbed back up, hit it, broke through. I think it broke through last night, yesterday, with a green candle. I was thinking this might be the time when we're finally going to get above this. Now, we have gotten above this before, as you can see, and fell back below. But with me, when it comes to this kind of stuff, once we get back up to the top, there's only two things that can happen. It's either going to bounce again and come back down, and we have weeks or months more of waiting for this big altcoin season breakout, or it's time. And it's more time now than it is before, right? Climbing all the way back up, creating bull flag, breaking out, bull flag, breaking out, bull flag, breaking out, one after another, getting up back up to this level again. I would rather be long up here and be wrong on this breakout, because if I'm wrong, that's okay. I'll just reverse the position and ride it all the way back down. And if we start to come back down here right now, and it turns into one of these where we just can't get through, we're just going to start slowly coming back down, I will close the position and we'll ride it all the way back down. Not a big deal. But if it is time to break out, what happens is it's pretty big breakout. And this is when ETH pops up to $5-6, and Bitcoin, everything else goes nuts to the next all-time high. And when you have Bitcoin doing this, when ETH is hitting its all-time high like that, and then at the same time Bitcoin is looking like this, I'll show you, where we have bull flag breakout after bull flag breakout with giant pumps to the upside each time. And then we get up here to this most recent bull flag. And depending on where you put your line, of course, I have it more of a triangle here, but really, let's just say it's angled. This is on the daily, so it's hard to see all the detail. Let me go down to the 4 hour. So when you do it like this, whenever you have a big bull flag like this, and it's definitely lower highs, and we've hit them, came down to the bottom again. If I put this where I believe it should be, which is right there, where we have resistance, resistance, breakout, support. All the way to the top, break through, resistance, resistance, break up above, support. Back up, attempting the top, bottom, support, support, support. All these touch points. Most recent one down, come all the way to the top, resistance, 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 breakout, support. This would be the first time that we got higher than this top resistance line on a bull flag, and usually that's a time to, maybe be in a long position. Whoops. I'm not sure what I just did there. Everybody see my chart okay? Yes, no, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I am in a long position here. I do have a stop loss kind of close by here. I did move it up to, what did I move it up to? I might be in two. What did I say that my stop loss was? Stop loss 116.5. And then I made an update here. Stop loss on BTC was supposed to be 116.5, not 114.5. Edit them, not 14.5. And so, but that still might be a little too close. So let's go to look. This is USDT. 116.5 is where I meant to put it the first time. I think it's because I get it out of the way underneath this center line. There is a center as well. And what's important about the center is that got to be dialed in properly here. We have resistance, 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 breakthrough, resistance, resistance, breakthrough, support, 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 breakthrough. Because if we do come back into this bull flag channel, what we don't want to do is get below this line. A lot of times before a big breakout of a bull flag, we tend to usually go to the top, to the bottom, to the top, and we normally hit the middle line before breaking out. Whenever you see that, like this right here, that's usually an indication that the breakout could be happening. Because generally speaking, when we do break out of a giant bull flag like this, it does come down halfway of the bull flag before it finally breaks out. And I can show you instance after instance when this is the case. So look at this one here. We had a very similar situation. We had resistance, support, support, resistance, support and resistance right here. Resistance, support, breakthrough, resistance, resistance, breakthrough, hit the top, bounced on that center line before breaking out. If we go back to even bigger ones here, like this one, this was the major one at 73K. This was the all-time high right here at 73. And we trended into a big bull flag for a while before breaking out. Top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, halfway down, breakout. And that looks like this right about here. You can see support, resistance, 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 support, support, resistance, support, breakthrough, resistance, 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 breakthrough, support, support, breakout. It did not go below that center line. So just keep in mind, usually before a breakout, we don't stay in the channel usually all the way back down to the bottom. Go ahead. Someone say something.
Yeah, quick question, Nico. So is the stop loss of 16.5 that is put right now, does it take us to the middle of the center line?
It's right below the middle line.
Okay.
I'll zoom in and show you. Let's go back to the 1 hour. It depends on where it comes. Actually, it's not. It's actually not. So excuse me 1 second. Let me just readjust this. I just put it there because the way I look at it is that because I don't want it too close here because it's possible to wick back into the channel and then come back out. So as you can see right here is the 16.5 below these wicks, which could be safe. It may not be safe, but if it does come back into this channel and come down to the middle line, I'm not going to wait to get taken out. If it comes back in this channel, I might just close the trade out or reverse position and then go long again on the center line, as long as it bounces there. Because if it doesn't bounce on the center line and comes down to the bottom, then that might obviously won't be the time for the breakout. What I'm saying is that normally, if we did come to the center line like this, when we came down to the center line and bounced and started to climb back up, this would have been a normal reaction to this would be to get ready for a breakout. Doesn't mean it's going to, but what I've just showed you is that usually before there is a breakdown, it usually just comes to the middle of the channel first before breaking out. This one didn't. It went back up and fell all the way back to the bottom. This one went all the way up, broke out, and is bouncing on the top right now. So I'm not really expecting it to fall back below, but if it does, it could come either to the middle line or all the way back down. Usually when there's a breakout, that's usually the time that it breaks out. But the problem is with this is that is this really a downward trending bull flag, or are we just trending sideways? So let's go and look. This is my USDT chart. Let's go to the Coin M chart, see what it looks like over here. I'll draw something different. As you can see, without the downward trending line, it looks just like a sideways trending channel right now that we're in. Let me put this. We got resistance, support, resistance, breakthrough, resistance, 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 breakthrough, support, breakthrough, resistance, resistance. So if we're just in a sideways trending channel, then we could be coming down to retest the bottom again. But there is more to it than that, because as you can see, these highs are lower. They're lower and lower and lower until the breakout right here. We even hit it. We even hit the line right here and then broke out, and we're now bouncing on it. If the line didn't exist, we wouldn't be having so much resistance right here. That is still to me a breakout. Now, as far as this sideways channel, we only got this high, but we've had a couple breakouts. We've had a couple breakouts and came back below, breakout and came back below. So this one, we did not get above it at all. But we did break out of this downward trending line. Just depends on how you're looking at this. Are you looking at this as a sideways channel, or are you looking at this as a possible overall bullish flag? If I get rid of all this other stuff, looks like a bull flag to me. And it does look like a breakout, and it's bouncing, retesting now. Question is, where would it break out to? If this is indeed a breakout, this could be a big move to the upside. I had it pegged to the 128 zone, which may or may not. Whoops. Somewhere up in here. And we're due. We would probably be due for that, because right here we're at 123. This is the all-time high for Bitcoin. Generally speaking, back here we were at 112, which was the all-time high. We trended down in a very similar bullish flag. And a lot of times when there's a breakout, there's a bull flag after bull flag after bull flag before we break out again. This is just a bigger bull flag. We had a little bull flag here, a little one here, a little one here, a little one here, actually broke to the upside. Now we're in a big downward trending flag, consolidation, breakout, possible big pump to new all-time high. But usually whenever we hit an all-time high like this, when we have a big pump to the upside, like this one, when we came from down here and we broke out of this downward trending channel, this is bullish, but we were up here at all-time high at 109 right here, 109. 108 was the all-time high right here. And then we double topped, we come around, double topped. Look at that, big W, but did not break because the top of the W was at major resistance, which was the all-time high. We start trending down. I don't know if you guys remember, but I was shorting this on the way down, doing about 10K a day actually in profits, pretty much all the way down. And then right here, when we bounced, we did a little double bottom here, but this was the 74.5. I was thinking we still had some ways to go. I was thinking we were going to come down to the 73.8 at the least, or 68, between 68 and 73.8, somewhere in the 70K zone to retest previous all-time highs. To retest this back here. We had 73.8 here, but this was previous all-time high back in 2021, which would have been this line right here. And so I was thinking somewhere in the middle. Let's just say right here at 70K. So I have this whole thing as a price zone. And And all we did was come down and wick down right here to 74.5. Now 74.5 was never the bottom, 73.8 was. But apparently it was close enough because after it wicked down to 74.5, which is the lowest line on the downward trending falling wedge, perfectly hit it, bounced, and then that was it. Chad was giving long signals in here. I was still short because I was short on every time we hit the top, I shorted the bounce. Hit the top, 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 I shorted again because I thought maybe we had at least another touch point down here. This is where I was wrong. I was right on the way down, but this is where I got caught in a short and we broke out to the upside. I even held short thinking, okay, we might pump up a little bit and then it's just going to come back down, fall back in. This is normal, but that's when we had a bull flag and kept going. So I gave a little bit of the profits back from this, but Chad signals was more spot on down here. And then that was the big run up. But the point I'm trying to make on this is that when we have these bull flags, all-time high, 73, we consolidated here for 7 months before breaking out. Then we come up here and we consolidated from December of 2024 all the way down to April. 4 months going down like this before breaking out. And then when we got to here at 112, that was May 20th, all the way to the breakout, July, a month and a half, July 10th, a month and a half of consolidation before breaking out to the upside. And here's our current situation. We come up, all-time high, 123, July 14th. And here it is, July 28th. So it's only been 2 weeks approximately consolidating. We could consolidate a little further. In fact, think about it. I would say before this little breakout right here, I would say that the most likely scenario would be for us to come down and retest this, which was this 112. That would be most likely. And that still can happen. And so this breakout might not be ready yet. And if it does come back down into this channel, then I think that we might see it drop all the way down to 112. I'm just ready in case it breaks out. I am long right now, which is maybe a little premature, but if this is the breakdown, I don't want to wake up or look at the chart later tonight or tomorrow and see that it's up here at 121, 122 and say, shit, I missed that breakout. So if it does come down and take me out for a small loss, I'm not worried about it because that just means I'm going to have a better entry, either shorting it back down to 112 or a better entry waiting for 112. Just wait for that bounce because that's usually what happens, guys. It usually does come down to its lowest point before the breakout. And whenever you look at that lowest point, it usually is the previous resistance on the way up. Oh, usually, always, right? So let's just look at that. We had resistance, 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 breakout, big bull flag, retouch as support, breakout. Then it would come down and do that again. Resistance, breakout, touchdown support before the big breakout. Just like here, resistance, resistance, breakout, comes back down and retouches before the big breakout. Just like here, resistance, lots of resistance, 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 breakout, comes up, 8 months consolidation, wicks all the way down to retest that before the big breakout. So I would not be surprised if it still needs to retest 112 first. 112 is this line right here. That would be the big bounce. That would make actually perfect sense. It just surprised me that it did come down to 114.5 right here on this wick, which was nowhere near 112, and started to look like it was breaking out. So this could be a big fake out, and we could come back down to retest 12. Let's go to a much lower time frame, but it does look like it's bouncing, so it's possible.
Nico, quick question. So a short while back, you said that you would not wait for the stop loss to hit. So what would be the time which, I mean, how are you going to decide, okay, now is the time that I'm going to be reversing this? And
Yeah, so
because it's going to go short now.
Yeah, so the way I would do, I wouldn't even go short. I would just wait for the break. If it breaks back below this upward trend line that it just broke out of, I mean the bottom, I mean the top downward trending resistance, this line on the top of the bull flag, it broke above it and now it's bouncing on it, right? My stop loss is somewhere here at 16.5. If it breaks below this line and comes back into this downward trending channel, I would usually wait to see if it's going to wick, if it wicks down and then comes back up, or if it wicks down and holds as resistance and then starts to drop. Once it comes back inside of this and holds as resistance, it can't get back above it. That's when I probably would either reverse my long, close it out, or reverse it. Reverse it. I probably would reverse it. But here's the problem with reversing it, guys. It's kind of playing a game of chase. You're chasing the trade at this point. And so, because it's possible that it does come below this and then goes right back up. It's possible that it comes below this, hits resistance and starts to drop, but does not make a lower low and then pops back up. And then you're like mad that you got out of that trade. So the best thing to do is wait a little bit, just be a little bit more patient, because what you really want to see if it does break back down into the channel is you want to see it come below, retest as resistance, and then start to drop, but actually get further than where it first came below. Once it drops below, comes back up and retests, it needs to go down further than this. Otherwise you have this where it comes below, retests, and starts to come down, but it doesn't get further. Maybe it even double bottoms and then comes up higher and then comes down and retests again on the top. And now what you have is a low and then a higher low and a higher low and a higher low, instead of a low, a lower high, a lower low.
Yeah.
And then another lower, and then another, lower high and everything. Like down here.
And you're monitoring this on the 15-minute or on the 1 hour?
Well, right now I'm on the 10-minute time frame. If you're really going to look on the granular, like local level, you go to the lower time frames. But I generally don't go lower than the 10-minute.
Okay.
But it does look like we got a little bit of a bounce here happening with possibly another W. I mean, it looks very similar to down here when we came and bounced on this bottom trend line here. We bounced and then we created this W, we double bottom, and then we climbed up. And we did hold a little bit above it here on the lower time frame. And it could just be that we're coming down to retest it right now. But what you would need to see is right now we have a high, a lower high, a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right? So what I would want to see is I would want to see it break that pattern, because if it's just going to continue making lower highs, then it would look like this, lower, 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 until it finally fell through. I would want to see it break above and then get back to making higher highs. Then I would know that it's just retesting this as support, and then it's getting ready to climb. We're going into a Monday. That's positive. We do have this whole thing happening right here, which a lot of people around the world will look at as a breakout. Some people will look at it as maybe a fake out or a false breakout. Especially if it falls back below this support line. And some people might not even be looking at this as a flag. They might be looking at it as a sideways trending channel, like I showed you a minute ago. And in that case, we did not break out yet to the upside. And here's the bottom down here. We had a couple times where it might have broke out. But I'm not really subscribing to that. I mean, it's a little bit of both. We have support here, obviously. We have resistance and resistance, support, resistance at that line. And we do have support at that line. But we also have, when we were coming up, we have resistance, and we broke out of this line and retested it. And we also have, if we're really keeping true to the downward trending lower wicks, if I touch all of these right here, you'll see we had a lower lows and lower highs as well until here. And now on this one, we did get higher than this one, but we did not hold above it, but we did not get higher than this one. And that's what needs to happen. But it also usually does retest. Whenever we break out of a bull flag, we do normally retest. Let's go down and look at some other ones. Here's a good example. This one, let's go to a little bit higher time frame. This one, it looks almost identical what's happening right now. We hit 112. We channeled into this downward trending channel. We had the very similar, almost identical, where we hit resistance. We got above it, support, 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 lower lows and lower highs. This time we came down halfway, like I was saying, usually does before the breakout. We did come down halfway here, and you know, that could be, let me see where that is on the grand scale here. We did have some support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, 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 support before we broke out. But look what happened when it broke out. It broke out and then it came back down and retested. It even wicked a little bit below, came back above, held the support, made an attempt higher, but didn't make a higher high, comes back down and retests again, and then finally climbs out. So I would wait for it to come back below this line and really hold this resistance. Otherwise, it could just pop right back up. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And we got some green. We got some green candle happening here. That's positive. Let's go back down to the lower time frame. Is it going to break out or not? Here's an interesting thing as well. Not only did we hit support here and we popped up, but we actually made a higher low right here. Consequently, what's actually happening here? Are we going to break out? Looks like we might be. I'm still long. I'm just staying in. I'm not overly worried about it. But yeah, I mean, this whole round, this whole coming back down to retest thing is common. Now let's go back and look at Ethereum, because I think Ethereum is possibly going to be a new leading indicator and catalyst. And what do we have going on here? We did have a nice upward trend on Ethereum, quite a bit. And we did break below it after we got to the top resistance line. Let me get rid of some of this other stuff. By the way, guys, I don't know who's investing in Ethereum, who's holding Ethereum. If you're doing any kind of hodling on Ethereum, in addition to Bitcoin and XRP, but these are the majors. These are the ones that I think are going to stand the test of time. The Ethereum mainnet and the Ethereum blockchain. There are so many cryptos, utility cryptos with utilities that serve a purpose that will be operated on the Ethereum mainnet. And so Ethereum is not going anywhere. Okay. Ethereum itself might have had some problems and some gas fee problems and, you know, issues like that. But I think that if Bitcoin does hit 160, 170, 200K in this bull market, which is still possible, that Ethereum could be at 10 to 20K. And then as far as XRP is concerned, so here's what I'm waiting to see here is I'm waiting to see if we're going to come up and retest this as resistance or just pop right back above, which is possible as well. Could just be a little dip, a little fake out today. Right now it is holding some support here. If I bring that across, as you can see, we have resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, 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 and we held that as support. That's a good thing. After breaking out, look at this. We broke out here, could not hold above it. Resistance, resistance, broke out, bounced, went a little higher, came back below, resistance, resistance, couldn't hold above it, fell. Climbed all the way back up, resistance, climbed up, resistance, 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 winding it into a tight apex, breakout, came back below, hit that, bounced on this upward trend line, broke out, and never retested. Just climb, 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 falling back to retest. Now, what is this top line? Let's look at it and see what this red line is at the top. That's the overall resistance going all the way back to 2024. And we hit it. And then we're coming back up to hit it again. So let's look. Last time we hit it, the last couple times we hit it, came below, went above, fell below, came back up, hit it, dropped down, hit it, dropped down, hit it, dropped down, and came back below. Hit it, went above, below. Hit it, went above, below. Dropped back down. Came back up, tried to re-hit it, made a lower high and started falling. Right now, we come up, we hit it, drop below, come back up, hit it, and hit it. And we're kind of just holding support here now above this top level, which is so far positive. But, you know, if it falls back below, okay, we're not ready yet for the next bull market push to the upside. But it's good to be prepared in case it is the time. Let's look at XRP. So XRP, we had this giant bullish flag, pennant, apex, winding in. We broke out. We never retested. We just pumped up. We came all the way up to this resistance line right here. We broke out. Let me get rid of some of these things here so you can see it better. We hit resistance, broke through, retested, and bounced. So we bounced on this wick right here, this resistance, and what's this? We never came back below that yet. So that could be the apex. Let me get rid of some of this other stuff we don't need. Let me get rid of this. Let me just move this up here. Get rid of that. Clean this up a little bit. Looks like we got a little bit of a bounce. And you have
Looks like
some.
on the 10-minute, you got a W forming too.
Say again, I'm sorry.
Looks like on the 10-minute time frame, you got a W forming on XRP.
Yeah, it looks very similar to the Ethereum and the we do, yep. And if we take a resistance line from the top and draw it down, that's what you want to see it break out of. Otherwise, it's just going to be a continuation of lower highs and lower lows. So we're in a little bit of a downward trend. This line right here could be not in the right spot. Let me just adjust it. Yeah. So bounce, resistance, breakthrough, support. You see a breakout here on, so this is what I would do, guys. I would be on your XRP, your Ethereum. In addition to anything that you're seeing with Chad and any of the other coaches and teachers in here, anything else you're trading, that's fine. But on these three majors right here, this is what I'm looking at. We bounce on this upward trending support going all the way back. This is XRP. We've been in this upward trending support for a while. Here we went all the way up and created this giant push all the way up to 3,600 or something like that. And then we come down, we retest, and then we drop. So we did have a big M, so to speak. We did drop all the way back down to support. Now we're climbing back up again. We did have higher highs. Now we're coming back down and retesting again. That's not necessarily good, but as you can see, that's what it's done this whole time. big pump to the upside, back to retest. High, back to retest. All the way up, higher, 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 back to retest. Retest. But the overall trend is upward trending. And then, of course, there will be an apex that it would need to break out of. All right, 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, so if XRP breaks below this upward trending support line, I'm gonna, re-question, reevaluate the situation, but I think that we are trending up. I think that we are positioned to eventually climb back up to retest these highs here, not only with XRP, but also Ethereum and Bitcoin. And once we retest those all-time highs, because we've already done the 20% pullback, guys. That was the big 20% pullback. That was the big consolidation. I mean, let's just take a look at it. We went from 123 all the way down to 114, and we're breaking out, possibly retesting on Ethereum. We went all the way up to 4,000, right? And we pull all the way back to 37.74. That's a 5% pullback right there. Did we get to 4,000? I think we did it in 3,900 or something like that. Or we did get to 4,000, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think
sure,
39. I mean, this is just in the last 24 hours. We got to 39.40, but back here we got to 4,090, and that was earlier in the year. We've done that a couple times here with Ethereum. We got to 4,080 here, 4,090 here, maybe even 4,100 right here. And now we're hitting it. We're coming up to it right now at 39.40. I don't think we're done. I think we're going to retest these highs. At the very least, we're going to retest the highs. And so we got a little bit of upswing there. And then same with XRP. XRP had its big 20% pullback breakout. And then we had this big pullback just more recently right here. We were at $3.66, pulled all the way back to 290, I think. And that, look at that, 19.43%. That is usually it. Whenever there's a big 20% consolidation or pullback, that's usually the bounce, guys. That's usually the bounce. Not saying it is for sure 100%, but it usually is.
Can you check out BNB?
Finance coin is pumping as well. I mean, it did basically a very similar thing where it was in a downward trending apex, consolidating, winding into this corner. As you can see, I already have the charts drawn up. We broke out, and I drew this before it happened. I was drawing this right here, saying that this is where it was when I drew this. It's either going to break to the downside, or it's going to break to the upside, retest, and pump. It broke to the upside, it is retesting, and it pumped. I just wasn't watching it since then, so I didn't get in on that, but that's what happened there. Now let's look at it. Where is it possibly going? Let's go to a higher time frame. I mean, holy shit. BNB is at $841. Anybody know what the all-time highest for BNB?
I think it was 1,400. I thought I can look real quick.
I think it did have a higher time at one point, but
I'm pretty sure it did.
because back when we were getting into the ICOs and we were getting into better or something, I believe that BNB back then, that was like in 2020, 2021, I think BNB was still way up there too, $600 or $700.
I guess not. No, it looks like the all-time high wasn't that long ago, and it was 700 and what is that? 93, and now it's broken it. It's broken the all-time highs. I'm looking at Binance's chart. Time to look at MetaMask.
Hey, let me go, let me pull up Coinbase too, because Coinbase might have it. BNB. Well, Coinbase doesn't, you can't buy BNB on there, but they do have a chart. Let me see what their lifetime chart looks like. I think we're at all-time high right now, guys. To be honest with you,
I think we are.
maybe. Yeah, because Coinbase goes back to 2017. And right now we're at the high. For BNB.
Quick question. Is there some kind of a bridge I could send BNB from my MetaMask wallet to Femex? Femex. Yeah.
Yes. BNB is all-time high right now. 827 was the all-time high, and then it just, I think, broke through that. All right, so we got that straightened out. So what was the question? Can you send crypto from your MetaMask wallet?
BNB particularly, I want to send it into Femex. Can you do
Yes.
direct, or you got to do some kind of bridge or what?
Yep. Let me show you. Hmm. Let's get into a different account here. So you want to come over here to deposit up here. And then you want to do, they used to have something that said on-chain deposit. But deposit crypto, same thing. So you click on deposit crypto, it's going to take you over here. You're going to click on BNB right here, and you're going to copy your wallet address right here.
Got it.
And then you take that over to your MetaMask and send to this. Also, before you send it, you can also, it's going to go into your spot wallet. So once it gets into Femex, it'll be in your spot wallet. And then if you want to convert it to USDT or convert it to, let's see, can you trade on a coin margin? You cannot trade BNB on a coin margin. So you would have to convert it to either Bitcoin or any one of these other ones. Or USDT if you want to trade other tokens.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Gardner asks, can you go over Vine? And I think we talked about Vine on the last call a little bit, but we have like a weird thing going on here with Vine. Let's go down to the 4-hour. Vine pumped. Serious pump. Pumping going on for Vine. And if you notice, what's it coming up to? It's coming right up to previous resistance right here. Let's just get rid of some of this stuff. Let me remove all the lines. So we have on Vine right here, we had support, this first green line, the second, third, fourth, support, resistance, support, support. It broke through, came back above, support, breakthrough, resistance, fall. Bring this forward, this blue line, all the way to the current situation. You can see where the price is right there with that green line. And really, all it's done is wick up to this line, probably wicked right up to there where we also had when we had support here, we had resistance, 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 support, resistance, and then drop. So this line right here, it's somewhere in the middle now. It's in between these two blue lines right now. Let's bring this all the way over. It's exactly what it hit. So we're, could this be a giant cup formation? It looks almost like a little W or butt cheeks, but let's just call it a cup. And possibly we'll have some consolidation here. Let's just zoom in over here and see what's going on. We actually wicked up and hit it, came down and then wicked up even further and hit that top line right there. I mean, there's not enough price action here on Femex for me to really see, but this looks like could be a nice cup and handle coming back right back up to where we had previous resistance after this launch. Because when this launched on Femex, this is what happened. It just dropped, held support, climbed up, dropped, held support, and then fell and created this giant cup underneath. And now it's just now coming back up to retest that level, which was the previous support resistance. And that could be good. That could be a nice breakout getting ready to happen. So if this turns into a big cup for buying, then you could see some consolidation here where it bounces, 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 creates a little handle, and then boom, to the upside. So let's take a trend line from the top to the bottom of the cup, put that over here, and looking at a possible break to 30 cents. And guess where that would bring you? Just draw a line across, bring that all the way over to the previous high. And as you can see, right where there was resistance, 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 support, support, resistance, resistance. Isn't that strange how that works? That's probably exactly where it will go if we break out this side here. So this might be a good one to watch and like get ready for, guys. I mean, and those of you who really are more into higher risk and getting a position prematurely is what you would do is you would go long, but you would go low leverage and low margin until it's confirmed breakout. Once it's confirmed breakout, you can increase your margin, increase your contracts, and increase your leverage if you want. That way, in case you're wrong and it doesn't break out and it falls down deep here first, before it comes back up, you don't want to get liquidated or taken out. I would not set for a future buy myself, Cheryl, because I don't do, me personally, I don't do conditional orders. I wait for the breakout and I just do it manually. Because you could do that, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it, but you need to know what you're doing. And in other words, if I set a conditional long right here at 19 cents, 19.19298, because I think that if it does break above this, I want it to trigger that long, right? But here's the problem. It breaks above, triggers my long, and then drops back down. That's what I don't want. So I would rather see it come up and then hold this support first and then start to climb, and then I will go long, and I'll just do it manually. That's me, because I'm always paying attention anyway. I'm always watching the charts anyway. I'm not gonna, I would say that setting conditional orders are for people that don't have time at all day, every day, and it's close to doing what we wanted to do, but you don't have time to watch it, then yeah, go ahead, set a conditional order. Yeah, so you're saying you work all day, probably have to start with conditional orders with trailing stop. You can do that, especially if you know how to enter that position. I would get on the basics calls also and ask Bill about that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that me personally, I like to do everything intentional and manually. Even my scale when I weigh myself is a mechanical scale. I don't trust the digital stuff. I don't trust things to be automatic. That's just the way I am. It doesn't mean I'm right. It's just I like to place the trade when I'm actually ready to trade, not when I, in the past thought, okay, well, if it gets to this level, I want it to go long. Because we've seen many times where it'll go up and spike to that level and then just come right back down. And now you're long and now you're negative. But yeah, as long as you use the proper stop loss or you can put a tight stop loss on that conditional order, whereas if it keeps going, great. If it doesn't, you don't want to be in it anyway. Okay, cool. Yes, ma'am, you're welcome.
Hey, Nico.
Hello.
I got a question. I'm still learning and I'm taking my time. What's your view about staking? I'm bringing my altcoins from different exchanges.
To stake where?
Stake in Fimix. I want to stake in Fimix. What's your view about it?
I would stake only if you can withdraw anytime. Coinbase, for instance, let me give you an example. Coinbase offers staking as well, and your money is not tied up. You can withdraw at any time, take it out of staking anytime. You don't want to be in a situation where you're staking and it's locked, whereas you can't touch it. And for a certain period of time, right?
You-
And there's a lot of platforms that do that. So you got to be careful. Just make sure. I'm pretty sure with Femex you can take it out of staking and withdraw whenever you want. I personally don't stake because I like to keep the money flowing and moving.
No,
Even with real estate.
my case is different from yours. I'm still learning.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's better to get a higher rate of like if you just got a bunch of XRP or a bunch of Ethereum sitting or USDT or USDC sitting over in Coinbase and it's not staked, then you're kind of giving free money away because they will pay you 5.6% a year just to stake it. So if it's just sitting there anyway, you might as well be getting paid a little extra, right? But just make sure whatever platform you're staking on that you are in control of it and you can still take it out of staking whenever you want or withdraw it whenever you want.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
On Coinbase, when you stake it, it does take time to unstake it, like up to 12 days, I think, because I have stuff staked. But yeah, you can take it, but just not like right
correct.
away. You have to
You're
unstake
right.
it. It does take a couple of, I think it's 12 days is what it is, 8 to 12 days.
Yeah.
I did it in Kraken, but it wasn't too good. It took longer. That's what
Yeah. That's
concerned
that's my concern with staking. I'd rather give up the 5% per year because I can make more than that per month using the money. It's like my accountant, my CPA kind of drives me crazy. He's like, Nico, if you don't pay the tax by this date, they're going to start charging you 1% per month. You don't want to pay that interest. That's a lot of money. I'm like, 1% a month is 12% per year. Yes, that is a lot. Don't get me wrong. But if I can take the money instead of giving it to the IRS and let them accumulate interest on me go at a rate of 1% a month, but I can take that money, 200 grand, let's just say, and put it down on a $1.8 million apartment building and turn that into $1 million in profit in 3 years. I would rather pay the 12% per year in late fees and interest to them because there's an arbitrage. I will make more money using the money than if I take it and do something with it. And then I'm paying them an interest. So that's just my logic, right? That's the arbitrage. Now, if I'm just sitting on the cash in my bank account, I'm losing 1% a month by not paying off that tax debt, then yeah, it would be foolish. But if you've got something to do with the money where you can make more money with it quicker than what it's costing you to not pay that debt, then there's an arbitrage there. So you got to put yourself into the situation where do I have a way to make more money with that money, or would it be my best interest just to pay off that debt? If just like credit card guys, if they're charging you 29% per year on your credit card, but you can borrow against the funds on your credit card, like on business credit, guys. And by the way, we got links. I got links in our important links section in Discord. We got groups, guys. We got people in this group. I referred to this company that will get you business lines of credit. Okay, you gotta get your credit score up. If your credit score is above 700 or so, you can get approved for business credit. American Express, Chase, Bank, they will apply for you. They charge a couple $1,000s to do this service for you, but they will apply for you, get you approved for high lines of business credit. What can you do with this? Well, the cool thing about business credit is it doesn't report to your normal credit bureau. They do check your personal credit to get you approved, but once you're approved, you can charge up 100 grand and walk and not pay it. Now that doesn't help you. It's not good for you to do that. I'm just saying that it's not going to go against your personal credit report, and you don't want to do that because you want to build strong business credit. And you do that by charging up the card, 10,000, 20,000, let's just say, and paying it off, charging it up, paying it off. Right. And then you get higher and higher lines of credit. Well, what for? What's the purpose of it? Well, if I have a $100,000 line of credit on my Platinum American Express, there are companies called, like, for instance, there's one called Plastique, 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 where you need money, you want, and instead of taking a cash advance on your card and getting cash advance payments and interest and all the problems that come with cash advances, Plastique will charge you $25,000 as if you're buying a product or service from them, and they will wire the money to your bank account that they just charged for a very small fee. What do you do with that 25 grand? Whatever you want. You can take and buy more Bitcoin. You can take and put a down payment on a property. And now, okay, now you have also on that business card, you got no interest and no payments for 12 to 18 months. So now you take that 25 grand you just charged on your $100,000 credit limit on your Amex with no payments and no interest for 18 months. You go put that down on a fourplex or a 10-unit apartment complex. This is just me talking, guys. I'm not telling you what to do. You can buy Bitcoin, you can do whatever you want with it, but you just better make sure that you're doing something with it that's going to make more money by the time that 25K is due on your credit card. You just have to know. Now, a lot of people are going to take what I'm saying and they're just going to go do it just so they can have the money. If you could do it and go buy a boat with it, just remember, you got to pay that money back to Amex. The piper will come. They will come and want their money back, right? And you either going to start making payments with interest or you're going to pay it all off. So what I do is I'll buy an apartment building. I'll try to refinance it. I'll try to get it fixed up and refinance it, pull all the equity out of the apartment before my credit card's due. And then I will pay that credit card off with tax-free loan proceeds from the refi. And now I have tax-free loan proceeds from the refi. I have an apartment that I own with a small down payment. This down payment I pulled from credit, which I did was OPM, other people's money. I didn't have to come out of pocket with it. And now I just paid my card back off. And guess what they do now? Please take more money, Mr. Nico. Here's the credit card. Now we just increased your line of credit from 100,000 to 200,000. They love that shit. And this is how you just keep and I have like 7 or 8 Amexes now. Gold, platinums, plums, all of them. It's like ridiculous. Call Fund and Grow. Bill just put it in the chat. The link is in our Discord. If you want to go talk to them, my accountant out there will take care of you. Use my referral link, guys, because it helps all of us. It helps me, obviously, but anything you pay them doesn't come to me. I don't get any of your money, but that gives me some benefits with them in the future. But
and if you hey Nico.
Yeah. And by the way, how many people in this group have used that? I know Bill did. Bill got lots of lines of credit. I know we had several members in this group already do it and get approved. I know because I can see the people that are referred. I can see that they got approved for stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Hey Nico.
Yes.
Also, if anybody wants to get money off of their card, I'll do it for half the cost of plastic.
There you go.
So yeah, just hit me up if you guys need to get money off your card.
So there are people like Cody
I'll
guys.
send you an invoice, no problem.
Yeah, that's fine. And there are people like Cody guys out there that are money brokers, that are loan sharks. I mean, you used to use the term loan shark. I know that's kind of a negative connotation, but that's not a bad thing actually. That's just someone who has money who can solve your immediate money problem and charge a fee for it. But if he's charging a less fee than some of the major companies that do this, the trick is to make it look like a purchase, not a cash advance. That's all. And you can do that with an invoice. In fact, you can even do it yourself. If you have a business PayPal account, you can send yourself an invoice, make a payment. The money's in your PayPal.
It doesn't work.
Oh, you tried that?
Yeah, it's because then it's basically money laundering. So PayPal doesn't allow it.
Yeah, you got to be careful, guys. And when I'm not advocating doing anything illegal, but that Plastique is a legitimate business, and obviously there are people like Cody that will do it as well. Same thing. And I was doing it. I was doing something called Gator loans, and that's when someone needs to close on a property and they're short $10,000 or $5,000, and if they don't close by Monday, they're going to lose their contract on that purchase and maybe lose 100 grand. So I come in and say, okay, I'll give you the 10 grand. You're going to pay me back the next day after we close. Because as soon as we close, I'm just going to get the money back and charge you another 5 grand, and to them, they're like, well, I'd rather pay you 5 grand to make sure this deal gets across the finish line than lose $100,000 of earnest money deposit that I won't get back if I can't close. And so if you got money, guys, there's lots of ways to make money with your money, obviously, but let's get to the point of doing that. But I bring this up because, especially now in crypto, could you also use some of your business lines of credit to invest in crypto and things like that? You can. It is a little higher risk, guys, because you're buying an asset class that you don't know when and if it's going to go up. But historically speaking, if I would have taken 100 grand and bought 10, 8 Bitcoins at 15,500 at the bottom of the last bear market, I would have 7x'd my money. I would have 7x'd that 100 grand, and I could have easily paid back the credit card company the 100 grand plus interest over that 18-month period, two-year period. So it's all timing when it comes to that kind of stuff. Yeah, Marlon, Gator loans, Pace Morby, I know markets, that kind of stuff. So, Joseph asked, Nico, you talk of Coinbase a lot. What do you think of crypto.com? I have a crypto.com account as well. I don't use them as much, but there's nothing wrong with either one of them. They're both centralized exchanges. I think the reason why I prefer Coinbase is because my domestic banks, Wells Fargo, Chase, and all these banks, they are accepting Coinbase because Coinbase is not only a centralized exchange governed and regulated by the federal government, but it's also a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. So you don't have any problems making deposits into Coinbase from Chase or Wells Fargo, whereas crypto.com, sometimes you do. And things are changing, guys. The banks are becoming more and more lenient, but I mean, I've been dealing with Coinbase for 10 years now. So back then, they didn't like you buying crypto. They didn't like seeing money leave the bank to go to a crypto company. No bank like that. But yeah, Fund and Grow is the company I use. And if you go into I think Bill did post a link, but if you go into the
Official links channel.
official links section in our Discord, guys, right here, and scroll up, you will see right up here somewhere, to secure business lines of credit up to 150,000 with zero interest up for up to 18 months. Click the link, learn more. Click this link. It is my referral link. You don't need to use my referral link, but I would appreciate it if you do, since you heard about it from me. You will get one too once you sign up if you want to refer people. But these guys, I mean, I've gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars in business lines of credit. I could have probably done it myself. After I saw what they did, I probably could do it myself, but why? Why? Just get professionals who deal with these banks all the time. They know exactly what to say. Even when they give me a line of credit for 25 or 30 grand, they don't even accept it. They go back and negotiate a higher line of credit, and they always get it. I'm like, damn, I would have never even thought to do that.
Hey guys, Nico, this is a little off the finance subject, but looking at the charts, we cover a lot of price action.
Yes.
I'm trying to understand how volume and RSI correlate to price action. I know there's a lot of story hidden in volume and price action, and I want to understand it better.
Yeah, so here on this is Bitcoin, go to the weekly time frame, and we have, let me get rid of some of this stuff here. As far as indicators go, I mean, I generally don't pay too much attention to the RSI or the stochastic RSI, except for on the weekly. On the weekly time frame, it's usually very accurate. So when you're looking like this one, this top one down here is the RSI, and the yellow line is the moving average. Whenever we're above the moving average and bouncing on it, we tend to get higher, not only on the RSI, but on price. As you can see right here, we bounced. And as you can see, this is what happened on that bounce right there. Just look at the dotted line going up, right to there. Boom, all the way up. So, however, on this RSI, you see back here, we had a high. Right here on price, we were at 73.5, 73.8. And that was the all-time high on the RSI. We were overbought. You can see how it's turning green. This dotted line right here is the 70 on the RSI. Down here is the 30. And whenever we get above the 70, we're in hot, greed territory, overbought territory. As you can see back here, that's the last time it happened back here in 2020. So in 2020, we hit this all-time high on the RSI, all-time high on the price. The price right then was 41,452. That's why I have that line drawn right there. And then we went up in price and we went all the way up to like 65K right here. We came down and then all the way up to all-time high 68. So we have a high and a higher high. Here we had a high and a lower high. When we came back up, when we came below the moving average and then came back above it and hit it right there, boom, right there, we bounced and pumped all the way up to new all-time high, but we never made a higher high on the RSI, thus causing what's called bearish divergence. So we have the price going higher, but we have the highs on the RSI getting lower. And then we come down and then we pump back up right here. And as you can see right here, we made another lower high. So we just bring this line down further. That was the beginning of the bear market. Here, in the current situation, we come up on the RSI, we hit 88 right here. You see heavy green zone, overbought, all-time high, 73.8. We just barely got previous all-time high of 68. We barely got above it at 73.4, 73.5. And we go into this huge consolidation period. By the way, this was right about the announcements of the ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs. We had 13 or so major hedge funds announcing they were going to start Bitcoin ETFs, and we did get a little higher. By the way, not only did we get a little higher than the previous all-time high, but this was the halving. So we actually went higher. I'm sorry, the halving was over here. We actually went higher than the previous all-time high before the Bitcoin halving, which was in April, which was the first time in Bitcoin history that we literally broke a previous all-time high before the Bitcoin halving. But as you can see down here, when we came down and consolidated, we broke out and went to even a higher high. Here, we went all the way up to 108. 108, new all-time high. So we had a high and then a higher high. Boom, boom. But we had a high and a lower high here on the RSI. Again, bearish divergence, very similar to 2021. Then we dropped down below the moving average. Huge drop all the way down in this falling wedge, all the way down to 75, 74.5, retesting previous all-time high. We break out, we come back above the moving average, and we come down and retest and pump. And what happened here when we broke out? We come all the way up to a new all-time high right here at 112. We just got a little higher than the previous one at 108, 112. As you can see, that was this peak right here, still lower than here. And then we consolidate, break out, and get up to 123. And as you can see here, we still have not broken right there. Let me just make this fatter so you can see. We still have a lower high on the RSI, and we did not even get above the 70 on the RSI, this dotted line. So to me, I mean, we still have major bearish divergence happening, and usually that is an indication of a top. But we had it here, and we've had it here. That's 3 touch points. Here we only had twice, 2 touch points, 2 touch points. That was the top was in. Here we've had 3 touch points, 1, 2, 3, and each time we had a higher high. Price. So right now, this is unusual. This hasn't happened before. So now we don't really know. Are we going to have another lower high here and another higher high here? 4 touch points? I'm not sure if I'm even answering your question, but I'm explaining the RSI. I'm explaining the RSI. Now, if we come down here and look at the stochastic RSI down here at the bottom, generally speaking, on the weekly time zone, when the blue line crosses the orange line to the downside, you can see the price when the blue line crosses the orange line to the downside, and then they both get below the 80 on the RSI. That's usually an indication of a big dump. So right here, the blue line crossed the orange line to the downside. You can see the dotted line right here. And as you can see, we had a huge red candle going down. We did pump back up. You can see right here, we had a little bit of an uptick, but we never made a higher high. And that was the beginning of a huge dump all the way down to 75 before breaking back above this dotted line at the bottom. Because once the blue line crosses the orange line to the upside, then it's a good indication that we're getting ready to break back out to the upside. See right here, we broke above the 20 on the RSI, and right there is when we finally broke out of this downward trending channel. So all you would have to do, like if the price was still down here and none of this happened yet, all you have to do is look down here and say, okay, the blue line did cross the orange line to the upside. They're both getting up near the 20 on the RSI. They're about to cross over. That's bullish. They're wide apart. They're getting ready to break. That's a long right here. You go long. Okay. And here we are again. So we get up to 112. The blue line crosses the orange line to the downside. They both come below the 80 on the RSI. And as you can see, we dumped all the way down to 98K. But then normally, and by the way, when this was happening, I was saying it's possible this could be it, guys. That might have been the top at 112. And not only that, but we had the bearish divergence on the RSI. I thought maybe this could be it. We could be coming down into bear market territory. But blue line turned sideways, crossed back over the orange line to the upside, and pumped back up. And that's when we got a second win here. We pumped up, got out, broke out of this, and created a new all-time high. But here we are again, guys. Right now, as we speak, the blue line crossing the orange line to the downside. Here's the problem with this one. The problem with this one is we have a lower high. Higher high, lower high. Now we have bearish divergence on the stochastic RSI as well, where we have the price, the tops down, going down, and on the price, we have the tops going up. The price is going up. So, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but usually when this happens, whenever we have a blue line crossing the orange line to the downside, and they get below the 80 on the RSI, it's usually a big dump to the downside. Here it is again, right here, right here. Blue line crossed the orange line to the downside, boom, all the way down to 48K before coming back up. Back here in the previous bull market top, we have right here, blue line gets above, crosses the orange line, crosses back above. But right here, it crossed to the downside, and that's when we dumped. But this may not look like much, guys, but let's just do a price range on it. That's a 32% drop to the downside. Same up here. Blue line crosses the orange line to the downside right here. And it went all the way down to here, which was right here. And if we do the math, let's just see. That's an 85% drop from here to here. That was the beginning, obviously, the bear market. So if I go back throughout history, there's been plenty 85% drops, like almost like clockwork on the way up, like right here. This is this current bull market right here, right now. This is when we were at 15,500 right down here. And this drop from here to here after consolidation doesn't look like much, but we got up to $25,000 and we dropped all the way back down to 19.4. That's a 23% drop. Then we get all the way up to 31,000 and we drop all the way down to 23,000. That's a 25% drop. Then we get all the way up to 49K, 50K, and we drop all the way back down to 39K, 23% drop. It was just one 23% drop after another. Then we get up to 75K and we drop all the way down to 48,000. That was a 34% drop. And again, most recently we hit the 112 and dropped to 75. I'm sorry, we hit the 108, 109, dropped to 75, 32% drop. So where would we be if we dropped 32%? That would bring us to 84K. We drop, but that's normal. We've done it over and over and over again. We've done it over and over and over again throughout Bitcoin's history. So it's not even that big of a deal when it happens, except for some people get really freaked out over it. But we are in an upward, if we really look at this on a zoomed out scale, guys, we are in an upward trending rising wedge. Which means we could still have lots of upward price action left, but generally speaking, this formation is bearish. Once it starts to get to a top like this. How long can this go? It can go for a while. We can come like this, hit this side at boom, all the way up to 152. Come down here, hit this side, boom, all the way up to 175, right? But ultimately, what happens is these will eventually break to the downside, and that would be the beginning of the end, right there for the bull market.
No, that's that's great information. That's really what I was looking for. When you're forecasting, throughout the week, throughout the month, or whatever, however far back you are you using this RSI, the stochastic RSI, to take a look down the road?
I always use the RSI and the stochastic RSI pretty much every day, but only on the weekly time frame. Most accurate on the weekly. And this right here is the most concerning to me right now is the RSI, the fact that we've never got above the 70 on this last pump up, and we made a major, huge pump to the upside. We went from 109 here, which was the high, and we broke above it at 112, consolidated, and jumped all the way up to 123. And here we hardly got anywhere on the RSI. That's bearish divergence, not enough buying pressure. Even though there's enough buying pressure to get the price up higher, this is concerning down here. Most technical analysis traders, they would be selling the top. They would see that this is when they get out, guys. This is when the big firms get out. That's why you might be wondering, why are we not at 200,000 with all this billions of dollars pouring into the market with Michael Saylor and all these people buying all this huge amounts of Bitcoin? Why are we not shooting to the moon if there's such a limited supply? And generally, that to me usually means somebody somewhere is either selling an equal amount that's being bought, because it's impossible to continue to fill up a glass of water with water and it not overflow unless it has a hole in the bottom of it. Bitcoin has to be coming out of the market somewhere. If billions are pouring in all the time and the price is not going up higher, somewhere there's a leak somewhere, right? And not only that, but it's already been established that there have been 10 wallets, 10 big wallets that have had $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in them going back a decade, that have now become active and are starting to move Bitcoin around. Now you have to ask yourself, if you bought $7,000 worth of Bitcoin back in 2009 or 10, and it's worth $1 billion right now, and you all of a sudden that wallet just comes alive and it's no longer dormant, and all of a sudden you see Bitcoin moving from there to an exchange, what do you think that they're doing? You think they're buying more? Hell no. They're getting ready to sell. They just became billionaires. It took a decade, but
They could also be buying altcoins with it.
they could be. I mean, that's higher risk. I mean, that's a long time to wait to start moving your Bitcoin around. And it's just very strange that there's 10 of them, guys. 10 wallets. Almost strange that they all started just becoming alive and active. When I say alive, I mean they were dormant. They just, people knew that the Bitcoin was in these wallets, but no one was ever touching them. And they were like wondering, these Satoshi Nakamoto wallets? Are these people? Who are these people? Are these the original creators and people involved in, and they just sat on it this long and now they're finally getting ready to cash out? You gotta ask yourself, they're not stupid people, right? They were able to sit on their hands until Bitcoin hit a certain price and a certain valuation. And I think that valuation was $100,000, over $100,000, not necessarily 123, but since it was hitting 123, they all of a sudden started moving this Bitcoin around from cold storage wallets to exchanges, and some of them selling. Some of these wallets have started selling big amounts, like 50,000 Bitcoin or something ridiculous, some crazy amounts. But with all that being said, you gotta kind of listen. I want Bitcoin to go to $1 million, but is it going to happen this year? Is it going to happen in this bull market? It could. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm long right now. Shit. I mean, I got long signals in the group right now. I want it to go up. I want to hit new all-time highs. But I'm also not stupid. I also know that at any moment, someone with a lot of money can pull the rug, right? And just sell their crypto. And what would that happen? What would that cause to happen to the rest of us? Whatever you're holding would go down in value, even if it's temporary. Now, some of you don't care. Some of you are holding for the long term. Doesn't matter if Bitcoin drops from 120 down to 80. You're just gonna hold and buy more, right? Yeah, Marlon says one whale sold 10,000 Bitcoins for around 9.5 billion. I don't know if that adds up, but let me see here. Ten thousand Bitcoins would be about $1 billion. I don't know if it would get to 80,000 Bitcoins. Yeah, I was going to say 80,000 Bitcoins. Yes, that would be 9.5 billion, but not 10,000. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's happening, guys. These are people. There comes a time when you got to sell. I don't know if any of you ever watched the television series or the movie or series on HBO called Succession. Any of you watch that? Great show. It's about this guy who built this amazing company over the last 30 years, 40 years, and his sons are all trying to get it from his kids are all trying to basically, kick him out and take over. They think he's antiquated. He's buying old newspapers and TV stations, and they think that's all on the out. He's got to get with technology. But this guy's a very smart guy. The company's worth like $10 billion now. And there comes a time when, I mean, he would never sell normally, but now he's starting to see the writing on the wall. Possibly time to sell. Sometimes you got to take money off the table. And and then there's the people, and the reason why a lot of people are, conflicted about doing that is because, well, what is money? Why should I change get rid of my Bitcoin back to US dollars when US dollars might be on the out? There might not be US dollars anymore. So you gotta take all this in consideration. The only reason you would do it is to convert the US dollars into something else more valuable, or move it to another asset class like real estate, and some people will say real estate's not even as valuable as Bitcoin, because with real estate, you got depreciation, you got wear and tear, you got weather, you got abuse, tenants abusing the properties, you got rehab, you got all this stuff. Whereas Bitcoin just sits there and goes up over time. So, but look at this, guys. Look at this long running upward trending resistance here. We're hitting it, hitting it, hitting it. What happens when we're at the top every time? Almost every time. We don't go through it. We fall back. Hit it, fall back. Hit it, fall back. Hit it. Are we just going to go through it right now? Or are we going to fall back? You got to look at the trends also, right? I'm not saying we can't go through it. We can. It just hasn't happened yet. So I like to give you all viewpoints, so you have a better, more realistic approach to things, instead of living in fantasy land like, go up to 500,000 because I saw some YouTuber saying, this is going to happen. I don't care what they say. They're not looking at the charts. Doesn't matter. Most of them don't know what they're talking about. This is the bull market bottom, and we're up here right now, and we are hitting the top of the upward trending wedge, and we're coming into a apex. That is indisputable. This is a fact on the charts. But, will we be higher than this? Yes, but will it be in this bull market? That's the question. I don't know. I don't have that answer. We certainly could have a big breakthrough and then retest on top of this, and then this whole thing will be over and it won't be it'll be invalidated. Or we could hit the top here again and come down a little bit first and retest some of these lower levels, maybe even down to here, hit the top, come down to the bottom, hit it one more time before breaking out. Or we could come down 90 some K, come back up, a little higher, 121, 122, 120, 127, 128, boom, fall back below. Come back up, 129, 130, 132, 133, boom, that's it, bear market. I can see any one of these scenarios happening. I've seen it happen like that 10 times already, it seems like. See all these times we wicked above the resistance? That right there got up to 64.5, came back below, dropped all the way down to 28K, came back up, hit it 64.5, went through it to 68, and that was the beginning of the bear market. Everybody here thought we were going to the moon. It's coming back up. It's coming back up. Oh, it just broke all-time high at 64. Boom. I'm going long. Boom. Drop. When you think you know what's about to happen, just bet the other way and watch what happens. Same at the casino. Same when you're about to call heads or tails when the coin flip. This, whatever your first thought was, pick the opposite. If you were about to say heads, pick tails. This is how life messes with you, right? How many times have you done exactly what I just said and said, damn, I thought I was going to do that, but I didn't. I was going to pick that, but I didn't. Or you pick something, you think is your lucky number. If it was your lucky number, you would have won by now. I don't know why people think they have lucky numbers. They keep playing the same lottery numbers over and over again because they think it's their lucky number, but they never freaking win the lottery. How lucky can it be? It's a numbers game, they say. Yeah, you're right. But you know, if the odds are 1 in 4 billion, then you got just as much likelihood of putting your clothes from the washing machine to the clothes dryer and opening it up when the buzzer goes off and they're all already folded. Technically speaking, that is possible for that to happen, but it would take like, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of tries first before it actually happens, but technically it's possible that your clothes would just land in a folded position. I wouldn't bet
A
on
quick
it.
story.
Yes, sir.
My wife matched all the numbers on the Mega Millions when it was $1 billion. Unfortunately, they were her numbers. Unfortunately, she bought a Powerball ticket.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
She bought the wrong ticket.
she bought the wrong game.
Unreal. Oh man.
Totally. Just a $400 million mistake.
Yes. Yeah. So lesson learned there is buy every ticket for sale that week, no matter what the game is. And then, ironically, if she would have bought the right ticket, but she didn't double up or Powerball, power play or whatever, she could have probably made another few million on top of that. And then people are like, well, if I power play, I'm like, you're spending an extra dollar or two, and you're not increasing your odds at all of winning. A lot of people don't realize that.
I remember you mentioned multiples, as far as like in the bull run. So like BTC return. I mean, I think it would be like if we get to at least 155K, it'll be like maybe a 10x. Because I think we went down to what, 15.5?
Yes, that would be a 10x.
And you mentioned like 20, I can't remember 2021. And you went through, I think you went through all of them, like the multiples. And
Yeah. So when you go back far enough, guys, the bull market back in 2013, the bull market 2017, bull market 2021, bull market now, this current bull market, you'll find that the return, the ROI, the multiple of gains from the bear market bottom to the bull market tops are diminishing greatly. And so what I mean by that is I'll show you. Let me just share my screen here and go back and show you. If we go to even this, you can see, go to the back here. This cuts off here in 2012, but there's one little pump up here before that. And I think that from the bottom of the launch of Bitcoin in 2009 to the top here in 2012, it was like 1,000x. And then this bull market after the halving here, it was like 100x. And then this bull market here from the bear market bottom to the top of the next bull market top was like a 50 or 40x. And then from this bear market bottom to going through the halving here to the bull market top was like a 12x or 6x or 12x, something like that. And then right now, from the bear market bottom to now, we are 7x. Are we really expecting it to be more than the previous times that are diminishing? This is why I'm very logical, and this is why some people look, oh, Nico, you're bearish. Nico, you're doom and gloom. No, I'm reading the charts, guys. I have to. I don't even like to see what I'm seeing, but it is the case. It's what's actually happening on the charts. You see this curve on the rainbow chart? You see this red line? Is it going straight up or is it curving? So as it's the logarithmic scale, as it's curving and flattening out, eventually over here somewhere, it will start to flatten out. And yeah, Bitcoin will be 1.5, 1.8 million, but we're not going to see this huge 100x pumps every time in every bull market because we have 1000x, 100x, 50x, 12x, 8x. I don't know, but it seems like it's diminishing each time, right? As more and more people come on board and open up wallets, as more and more huge multi-billion-dollar corporations start putting Bitcoin on their balance sheets, as more and more Bitcoin gets bought up and there's less and less in circulation, less and less retailers are going to be, when Bitcoin hits $1 million per Bitcoin, there's probably less people buying $10 worth of Bitcoin. They're going to just get defeated and think, what good is it? I can't afford a Bitcoin anymore. I can't buy a Bitcoin. It's $1 million for Bitcoin. It's too late. But if Bitcoin goes from 1 million to 2 million, their $10 will still 10x. It'll still, not 10x. It'll still 2x. It'll still go up from, $10 to $20. And the good thing about Bitcoin is you can buy fractions of it, Satoshis. And so it is for everyone, even the people who can't afford. Just like a person can have $10 billion and another person could have $10. That doesn't mean, oh, what's the point of trying to make money now? I'll never get to $1 billion. It's not how you think. You can't think like that. But anyway, the point is that on the grand scale of things, each bull market cycle is producing a less and less multiplier of gains. And we've already gone from 15.5 to 120, right? That's already a 7x, 7.5x, something like that. And as you can see also, just based on this rainbow chart, back here, we got up to the red zone and even broke through it. Then here we got up to the orange zone and tipped up into the red zone. And then here we got into the yellow zone and tipped up into the orange zone. Didn't even get into the bright orange zone. And then double topped at the light yellow zone. Here, we're coming up to the green zone. And the green, are we going to really pop up to the orange and reds? 900,000 up here in this bull market? I don't personally think so. Possibly somewhere in here, yeah. Top of this green zone, yeah. That would still be, look at the dotted line going straight across here. Right here is 126, 170. If we get up to 170, that's how much higher we are than the previous all-time high right here. But look at the line going to the right. It's only right here in the green. So that's because of this curve. So I don't worry about it, but you got to be logical when you're looking at this stuff, guys, and make your decisions based on that. See, I'm just as happy. Yes, I want Bitcoin to shoot up because I'm accumulating and holding Bitcoin as well. I want it to be worth more money, obviously, but I also feel like I want more time to buy more of it at a lower price. I also feel like part of me wants to have another dip to 70K so I can get more of it at a lower price before it shoots to the moon. But does that mean it's going to happen? Not necessarily. Someone said Bitcoin is doing another wick down. As you can see, guys, I'm on the 4-hour time frame. We have pumped down. We have come. Let's go to a lower time frame, see what it looks like. It looks like, so we had that little W here, remember? People were talking about that W, and I did say you got to draw that line and you got to wait, and we got to break below this or break above that. We did not. We did not yet. We hit it. We had that little W with a little higher low here. And then we came up and we did not have a higher high here. We continued down to a lower low, but we are still in this little wedge. We're still above the downward trending previous resistance as support right now. We actually dipped below it and popped back above it. So I'm hoping that we do stay above it and we do see another run up. And if not to a new all-time high, to at least previous all-time high levels, which would be up here at the 123 zone. Even if we just double top up there, I'll be happy with this run up. It's like $6,000 move to the upside. I would say that that is, let's just see, price range wise, that would be a almost 3% move to the upside, which is normal. Oh no, that's not it. Sorry. Almost a 5% move to the upside, which is normal. We've had 1 to 5% moves in the market in a day many times. Like for instance, here, right here, when we were at 123, we came all the way down to 115 on the same day. So do the math. That was a 6.45% drop in 24 hours. Boom. Linda says, my dad had a similar thing, just he didn't buy a ticket that week because the lineup was too long and his numbers hit. And that sucks. Jess, share your screen again. I am sharing my screen. I don't know if I wasn't at the time.
I can see it.
Pablo, hi Nico. For new traders that haven't gotten into BTC, ETH, and XRP yet, would you recommend that we wait until they break the trend line or resistance before going long, or tight stop loss now? Yeah, so on BTC, I would wait for a bounce here and a break of the upward trending resistance that we see right here on this downward drop. If we break above that blue line and start to climb, that would be a nice long entry. I did go long back here already last night when it was breaking out, because it broke out pretty high above, and I thought maybe it would come down to retest and bounce. It is coming down to retest now. Is it going to bounce or not, or is it going to fall back below? If it falls back below, I would wait to see if it bounces on this center line, because if it bounces on the center line, that could be an indication of a pending breakout. But it could also bounce right here and get back through. XRP, Ethereum. I gave the signal in the signal channel. I didn't give a signal for XRP and Ethereum, but I did comment on all three of them right here, guys. See XRP, nice W formation, possible break to the upside, but it would need to find support above the $3.27 level, next blue line above the current price on the image. So I was saying that it needs to come above this blue line first, $3.27. Did it do that? Let's go look. So it did not, I don't think. So let's go look. So this was the W. When I said that, I think. And when we're waiting is for it to get above the $3.27 level. Did I say 327? Let me look here because this doesn't make sense. Hold on. Let me go back. 327. Oh. On the hourly time frame.
Nico.
Oh, that was here, right here, guys. We're waiting to get back above the 327 level right here. And we did get above it, but it did not hold. And then it just fell down back down to this level. So I would say it needs to get above that 327. Go ahead. Let me just finish this on Ethereum. For Ethereum, I would say that we were climbing. We did break out of the top. We did not hold above it. We fell back below. We also fell below the upward trending support. And I'm not sure if we're going to retest or not, because right now it's still bouncing on this major resistance level as support, which is good. And it definitely needed to do that. So the question on Ethereum is, this might be a good entry, but you would put a tight stop underneath that line. So the support line here is 37.7. Let's just make it easy at 37.77. 3777. You put a line right there at 3777. Or 3780. Let's just make it 3780, 3780. Put a line right there. If you were to go long right now, I mean, we do have a little bit of an M pattern forming. We also have some downward trending, possibly lower lows, obviously lower lows, lower highs. But this is a major resistance level, this line. I'm going to change the color just so we can see it clearly. We'll make it yellow. This is a major resistance level, and we did get above it here, and we are now retesting it here. So this is the first time we actually retested it since getting above it. I mean, we did kind of maybe retest it right there, but we also come down and hit the upward trending support right here. Boom, 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 and fell through. We never retested that yet either. So I'm thinking possibly we will bounce. It's possible bounce here, even though this looks like a little M pattern on the lower time frames. We possibly will bounce. And if that's the case, you could go long and then put a stop loss right under this, a really tight stop loss in case it falls. Because if it falls, guys, if Ethereum falls through this and starts to come back down, this could be an indicator, a leading indicator, I should say. Not just an indicator, but a leading indicator. If Ethereum falls back through here, it could cause Bitcoin and everything else to fall. In other words, Ethereum could be the leading indicator now. Why do I say that? Because look, Ethereum was making its all-time high right here, or coming up to breaking this overall resistance up here, which was 2 days ago. I think even in advance. Bitcoin was doing the same thing. Both of them were climbing up at the same time, and they both kind of fell at the same time, but they usually correlate with Bitcoin. But if Ethereum breaks out, it's going to be a leading indicator. This is not good for Bitcoin right now, breaking to the downside of this. I'm not really happy about that, but my stop loss is down here. And if this continues to drop, which it looks like it could right now, I'm going to go and I'm going to go to where the major support is, and resistance and support and resistance and support. So we do have going back quite a bit. We have resistance, 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 support, 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 resistance, support, resistance, support, 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 resistance. Resistance, it broke through, and resistance, resistance, resistance. And guess where we're at right now? It could just be wicking down to touch it and bounce back up. So we'll see. What I would need to see is it break below and retest that. So it needs to come below this, which it looks like it might be trying to do, but it would need to retest and hold as resistance, meaning it can't get back above. But if it comes down and then comes right back above and holds above this downward trend line and above this red line here, then this could be just a little bit of a wick down or a fake out to retest these levels before bouncing. Going into a Monday, it's hard to imagine that we would have a big dump right now, but it's possible. All right, guys, today is Monday. We do have an onboarding call starting in 5 minutes. For those of you who are brand new, Bill already posted the onboarding link in the Zoom chat right here, 2 p.m., but it's also in the Discord on the trading chat right here. He just posted it. And Bitcoin, Cody, I appreciate that. Let me get rid of the embedded there. I generally don't like YouTube channel shared in the main group, guys, in the main chat, because I don't mind if you post videos that play right here in the channel, but if you post a link that takes someone out of here, then you could be sending someone on a wild goose chase. And then have a hard time getting back. Bill asked Nico, why did you think Bitcoin was about to break out? Well, I did spend the last 2 hours explaining that. Hopefully you got on this call.
Hey, Nico, Bill, thanks a bunch for your time today, guys. I got to run, so I appreciate it. I'll tune in the next one. Thank you.
Hey, Rick, no problem. Well, glad to see you here. Whoever this Bill is here who posted this, if you're on, hopefully did I get your question answered as to why that was going on? Guys, what I was saying is that also in the announcements channel, Bill had posted the onboarding link, and also in the trade chat right here, he's posted it, not just in the Zoom chat. So if you're new, get on that. But for these reasons is why I went long on Bitcoin. It's breaking out of the top of the bull flag. I also explain it when I give the signal, usually. Let's go look, make sure I did. Yeah. I mean, BTC, the other day I posted about the potential breakout of the top of the downward trending resistance of the bull flag. We are in on Bitcoin. I also think ETH hitting its top resistance is about to break as well. ETH can be leading indicator, which I think it is. But I think BTC is about to run up to new all-time highs. Keep in mind, it has not retested the breakout resistance line yet, meaning it did not break out and retest yet when I posted this. Still needs to do that, but I am long. But we'll be reevaluated if it comes back into the flag. I will be reevaluated if it comes back into the flag. What's it doing? It might be coming back into the flag. We'll be reevaluating if it comes back into the flag, which is this downward trending. But it's also hitting some resistance here, guys, at the 117.6. And maybe it'll bounce and break out. If it breaks below this and retests and holds as resistance underneath this red line, back inside this overall flag, then I will probably reverse the position. I will post that if I do, and wait for it to bounce either on the center line, or if it comes all the way down, okay, maybe we got some more downward trending to go. But this right here was the reason why I did go long, because it was breaking out of this overall bull flag and hopefully retesting right now. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. It's 1:57. Get on the onboarding if you're new, and if you're not new. If you have any questions.
Hi, Nico. Can I ask a quick question
Yes.
regarding? Thank you. I'm newer
And just for further, guys, if you have questions, make sure you answer it during the call, not necessarily at the very last minute, because sometimes.
Oh, I asked it in the chat. I don't.
Oh, I'm
think you saw
sorry.
it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Bill normally reminds me if I didn't answer
And
his
then
question.
since you
My
pulled
bad.
this up, my question is right there. So I want to understand the signals. I'm following a mock trader, and you're right after this description, you said I am long. Is that an official signal, or you're just shit? Because I know sometimes you get more aggressive. I'm trying to understand your style, and you
Yes.
do trades outside of what you would recommend for us. So the next, if you look at it, says I'm long. So I'm just trying to understand, but you give when your entry is right there. and your stop loss. I'm trying to understand when we should take the trades and when we shouldn't. So based on the way you post it. Thank you.
Yes, great question. So when I say I am now long and I actually give the entry, the stop loss and the TP, that is a signal.
Okay.
You don't have to take it, but it is a signal. Now, if you see it something like this, where right before that, I gave 3 different updates. XRP, nice W formation, possible breakout to the upside. By the way, guys, if you see a misspelling, it's not because I can't spell it, I'm just typing really fast. Possible breakout to the upside, but it would need to find support above $3.27 level first. Next blue line above this. So I wasn't long here. I wanted to see it get above this first. Now, you might see when I share my screen that it looks like I'm already in an XRP trade or the trade, and I am in like sub accounts, but those were not signals because they were higher risk. It needs to get above that first. ETH, same thing, testing the top of the resistance, waiting for a breakthrough here as well. This was the top of the resistance. It's hitting it now. I want to see it break through and hold the support first above the 37.46 before I gave a long on Ethereum. BTC, first image on the daily time frame. These were just updates on these 3 pairs. And then I finally, BTC broke above the downward trending resistance. Looks like the next level of resistance will be the 119, blah, 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 blah. I am waiting to see if it bounces at these levels and drops going into Sunday. If it breaks above and holds as support. In other words, this was that downward trending flag resistance. It did break above. I was waiting to see if it holds above, and that was yesterday at 12:37 p.m. At 6:51 p.m., 5 hours later, I did decide to go long here. And that is not just because Bitcoin was still looking the same, but because Ethereum was breaking out of this top. Ethereum was starting to poke its head above that line. As a leading indicator, I'm thinking that's an indication of things to come. And XRP bouncing, and starting to climb back up towards this line. So you got 3 things happening on the majors. Go back and just look real quick, XRP. But yeah, if I give the actual entry and stop loss and TP, that's a signal. Here is XRP, WW bounce. It's still bouncing, but it's in a downward trending channel. But it's bouncing on this major support right here. So I'm hoping that it breaks the upside and we continue up. And Ethereum, let's just look at it one more time. Ethereum still bouncing on the major support here as well. It did break below the upward trending support line, and it is bouncing on the next and only resistance line as support right now. That is good and bad. If it holds support here and starts to climb, then we could see a run up and it could retest this, break back through. But if it falls here, then where are we going? Where is it going if it falls there? Back into this sideways channel. I mean, there's a lot of support levels along the way, but I would say that the next support would be somewhere in the middle here, somewhere at $36.80 for Ethereum, and possibly even back down to the floor here at 35.27. But I mean, if that happens, guys, then it could just be days or weeks longer before we climb back up to the top, and that's always possible. But with this renewed energy, this whole pump to the upside on Ethereum, on XRP, on Bitcoin, to me, it was another attempt at the all-time high. This whole breakout of the bull flag on Bitcoin, generally speaking, is a good sign that we are going to bounce and maybe run up. So I'm still long here. I would reverse it if it comes back, if it really falls back in here and retest. On Bitcoin, what I would need to see happen is it looks like it could be trying to break below that support right here. You can see it. This normally, if I was not in a position, I would just short it back. Let's just do it. I'm gonna just to counter my long position because I'm already long on Bitcoin. I will put a small little short in right now with about the equal amount. Boom. Because I can do both. I can be in a long and a short on USDT at the same time. My long is way up here, guys, so I am negative on my long. About waiting for it to come back up. And my stop loss is down here. But if this starts to come down towards my stop loss, I can keep my short open and I can either reverse or close my stop, close my long, or what I want to see first before I do that is I want to see if it is going to just wick down a little bit and come back up and retest. It's either going to retest this and bounce, or it's going to pop back above it, and this will be a little fake out for everybody. And why would it do that? Well, look at all these times it's done that. It's wick down, come back up, wick down, come back up, wick down, come back up, over and over and over again below this line. Back here, way down to here before coming back up, way down to here before coming back up. This is a major support line that it's wicked below many times and come right back above, right? So could just do it again right now where it wicks down a little bit and comes back above. So I want to wait and see if that happens first. Don't get so jumpy that you're chasing trade. Oh, it's going below, I'm going short. And then it goes short and then it pops back up. Oh shit, I'm going long. And then you go long and then it pops back down. So sometimes you got to sit on your hands and just wait. You know, generally speaking, things don't happen so fast that you don't have time to get out. But at the same time, I am also in a arbitrage trade right here, a hedge, where I'm short and long at the same time, just in case. There's no reason for me to not make a little bit, like if this comes down to here and bounces and climbs back up, I can just close the short out with a small profit and then get back into the green up here in my long.
Are you gonna stop loss on your short?
Say that again.
Are you gonna put a stop loss on your short?
Probably not right now. I could just right above this level because I think, yeah, I'll do it right now. 117.8. I'll do it at 117.8 because if it goes back up to 117.8, that means it's breaking back above this line and above this resistance. There's no reason for me to stay in it at that point, but it does look like it's falling pretty nice now, right? This is going to be the big drop-a-roo. We could have one more big pullback first before the big breakout to the upside. That is certainly possible, but the weird thing about this, guys, is that normally happens here when we hit the top of this resistance. We normally have a big pullback there, but this time we broke above it and we went up pretty high, and then we even made a higher high and even a higher high. But then we come back down to retest, and my concern is it just another one of these where we come back down and dip below and then get higher, come back down, dip below and then get higher, come back down, dip below and then get higher. But all of these other times that it did it, where it came down below this line, wicked below and got higher, it was inside of the overall downward trending bull flag. This is the only time that we got out of it. So it's more unusual for that to happen now, but it could certainly happen. It's happening. Especially if this isn't, especially if you don't look at this as a bull flag. If you look at this as just a sideways trending channel, like we discussed right here, and looked at it that way, then maybe we just hit the top and now we're coming back down to the bottom. But I'm going to stick to my story thesis that it is a bull flag and we are breaking out. Also, it's possible that this line should be touching these and this, and that these are just wick out. So let me just do that just to see what that looks like in the short term. It's possible. Because if I put it there, then look, we have resistance, 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 breakout, support, break below, resistance, support, support, resistance, 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 support, all the way down, come back up, resistance, support, 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 holding on top of the line, then climbing up, and now it's just coming back down to retest that red line. That's possible too. That's why I'm not going to close that long yet. It's possible that we just coming down to retest resistance. Still didn't hit it yet. Just depends on where you draw the red line. Generally speaking, we put it at the top of all these wicks, which would look more like this. And we just went through. Another thing you can do, guys, is you can do what's called a zone, a price range right down here, price range. And you'll or I'm sorry, not a price range, but we can do what's called a parallel.
It's in the part with trend lines.
My brain's not working today.
It's in the trend line one up the top.
That's what I thought. Oh, here it is, parallel. So you come up here to the top, you go to the tops of all the wicks, not this one here, but these two here, this one and this one, because that's where it was, and then you double click and pull it down to the next set, which is right where I just put that new red line. Let me get rid of it. So this is a zone now. It's a range. It's a range between the very tops of the wicks and the wick bodies, the wicks and the bodies. Top, 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 toppy top, tippy top. This is like the ceiling in your house, and this is the ceiling in the attic. So sometimes we hit the ceiling, sometimes we go through the attic. But it's still inside this range. So we went through the range here. And now we might just be coming down. We get rid of these blue lines, make it easier. Coming down to retest. And we're in the zone right now, but we could just come to the bottom of the zone and then bounce back out. Guys, there's another thing you can do is, and to not worry about any of this stuff, is to trade on the higher time frames and wait for the major breakouts. This is scalping, so when you're scalping, you tend to take more trades on breakouts on the lower time frames and trade setups that may or may not turn out the way we want them to, right? But it's a little bit more risk, but you're trading more, but you also have the potential for multiple gains throughout the day, but you can also take a few hits on your stop losses. This is more of a preference strategy, more of a style. There's people who get started in trading and they love scalping because they just like the action of it. And then there's people who cannot stand scalping because they're chewing their nails off because they're in too many trades or they're trading too much. And then there's the people who, after trading for a long time, kind of like life. If you're a young guy, you might like going out and partying in your 20s. When you get older, in your late 30s and 40s, you settle down a little bit. And when people want to go out and party, you kind of just laugh at them because you already know. You already been there and done that. You already know that nothing good happens after midnight. You remember your mom telling you that when you were a kid, and then you realize all the trouble that you ever got in your life was after midnight, and you just finally learn your lesson. That's kind of like what happens in trading too. You got to do all of these strategies and all these styles, scalping, midday, intraday trading, swing trading, long-term trading. You got to do all these styles before you really know what is more harmonious with your personal, personality. What's best for you? What works best for you? Okay. I do both. I do everything. I'm in long-term swing trades, Chad's trades. I'm in my own little short signals and my own little short scalps, and where I'm in and out very quickly. I don't have a problem doing it. I detached myself emotionally to money, so it doesn't bother me, even when I'm negative a little bit. And I don't want you guys to get to that position, but it works. That my wins exceed my losses, and when I do win, it's much bigger than when I lose. But sometimes, I hold a negative position for a couple hours or a day before it finally turns around on me. But that's just me. I don't mind doing that. That's why sometimes I don't give you guys the signal. You might see on my chart that I'm negative $2,000 on a trade, but it's not in the signal channel. This right here, this negative $1,000 is, I got 4 open positions. It's not just Bitcoin, but I'm on different sub accounts and things like that. So I've only given a signal on BTC because I want to see Ethereum break and hold above that level first. Then I would give a signal on Ethereum and XRP. But right now I'm still long on Bitcoin, and look what's happening here, guys. Let's just zoom in. Look at that. It wicked down to the center line and popped back up. The center line of this zone that I just put in. Is it just going to come up and retest this level here and then fall further? Or is it going to come up? That's what you have to wait and see. Sometimes you have to be patient with these things and draw some. We got a downward trending channel happening kind of right now. We look at it this way, we hit the bottom of it. Are we going to come to the top again, come above this line, this original support line, and Kind of looks like it is getting right back above this support line we were just talking about for now. But is it going to come back above this and break out to the upside? That's what I'm hoping happens. I'll get back in the green. I won't worry about it. On my short that I was in, I was positive like 20, 30 bucks. Now I'm negative $2, but I'm not overly worried about that because I have such a tight stop loss right here. I said that if it gets back above that, I might go ahead and let it hit. It looks different now that I drew the lines differently than I had them because I drew this big zone, whereas before it was just a thin line going straight through.
Quick question on charting, Nico. How do you know when to, or what's best to when you're toggling between candles, regular candles, and Heikin-Achi?
I don't usually toggle, but like right now I'm on candles, but if I go to Heikin-Achi, it does look a little different. Heikin-Achi is still showing red on the 10-minute. Heikin-Achi is just probably more accurate, and it's kind of just blurring. It's taking the static away. It's like blurring out on the regular candles. You got, it's a little blurry because it's reacting to every little tiny move and showing it as possible the green, like this right here, red, 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 green little upticks. Even though it wasn't going up, it was green, green, green because the price went up a little bit from the previous candle, and then red. But the overall trend is still down. Whereas Heikin-Achi will show more red because the overall trend is still down. Whereas watch this right here, and if I switch back to regular candles, you see right here, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. Lots more green mixed in. Look at this downward drop right here. Red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. So on these big wick downs and then green pumps, you might think that we hit the bottom and it's going back up, but the overall trend is still down. But on Heikin-Achi, if I go back, just look at this right here. I'll circle it just so you know which one we're talking about. Watch how that looks differently. It's going to be all red on Heikin-Achi probably. So it blurs out all those little upticks in green. And so if you're trading on Heikin-Achi, you're not going to be tempted to go cut your trade because you think it's going to go up now. It's kind of just blends it. It kind of just takes the static away, smooths it out. There's a much more technical explanation as to the difference. That's just my interpretation.
No, I get you. I was just thinking that maybe the regular candles might be a little easier for drawing the lines if you're trying to hit all the bottoms of the body or the wicks, but Heikin-Achi can average it out.
They probably are for drawing trend lines and support lines, but Heikin-Achi is like, you don't need to be like really accurate. You could just look at this and say, okay, we got resistance at this level. Resistance, we popped above it, popped below. Resistance, 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 resistance. You don't have to be like exactly on anything to know where an average is or where the support or resistance is. But that comes with time also, guys. The more you do this, the more you realize you don't need to be like totally anal about it and get exactly where the line needs to be.
Got it. Down and dirty. Thank you.
Once you draw your lines and you figure out where support resistance is, you can then go, if you want, go down to a lower time frame and really dial it in if you want to, but it's not always the most important thing. Chad doesn't do any of these. I mean, if you look at some of Chad's, we go to the Trad's signal channel here, you'll see on his, he's on like a 4-hour chart, and he's basically showing a dotted line here way down at the bottoms of the wicks almost. Previous resistance, support. He's not tight up against right here, where I would probably have the zone from here all the way down to the bottoms of the wicks. But this is where it wicks down to, pulls back up, wicks down, pulls back up. Major support level here, and he's got a potential long based on this bounce here coming into this upward trend. So, you know, a lot less action, a lot less lines, a lot less craziness going on in his charts, much cleaner, much easier, but he just trades on the higher time frame. So he doesn't worry about all the small stuff that I'm talking about. Right?
Got it.
It looks like here he posted something with a darker background, which I've never seen him do. Normally he's trading on a white screen like this. Very clean. He must have been phone or something, or traveling. But yeah, so look what we got here on this is a linear perpetual futures contracts on AVA. Got a big W here. Looks very much like XRP. Amy says XRP looks like it broke out. Let's go back and look. XRP. Oh yeah, it broke to the downside of the W, not the upside. Is that what you said? Broke support and has popped back up. Watching for major move. Yeah, I mean it did break support here. It's popping back up to retest. This is not necessarily a good sign, guys. I mean, it could be a sign of some weakness in the market. You know, we could be breaking the upward trending support here. Going, man, sorry, my chart's not moving where I want. Going all the way back to, you know, July 11th. And I'm bouncing on it. We're still kind of bouncing. I mean, there's been a couple of times where it's wick below, come back up, wick below, come back up. And so it's very possible that this little wick below could pop right back up. We shall see. It did it here. Boom, 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 all the way down to here and then right back up. Came up and hit it as resistance and still broke back above. Here again, red all the way down, boom, and then came back up. Kind of like what we're seeing right now. Red, possible pump back up. We shall see. It's a little too soon. I do have a call coming up here at 2:30, guys. I gotta get ready for, but yeah, if you're brand new, get on the onboarding. If you haven't already, you should already be on there. But tune into the Wednesday basics call as well. Of course, I'll be back on at 12 noon on Wednesday, but Bill has the basics call after that, and he goes over a lot of the basic stuff that if you're new, you definitely need to understand. And I will post throughout the day. I will be paying attention here if I see any changes on any of these. Well, I'm only in one open signal that I gave, even though I'm in a couple longs on ETH and XRP and sub accounts. I want to see it get above a certain level before I actually give a signal. And when you see me already in a position like this, guys, it doesn't mean you should do it, because when I give the signal for ETH to go long, that's when I will add contract. I will enter at the same time I give you the signal. And it'll just bring my entry from wherever it was, and I'll just add contracts and add leverage at that time. But that will be the safest time. That will be when I'm more confident in what it's going to do. Sometimes I'll enter a position and not give a signal and wait to see if it does what I think it's going to do. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then I'm the one taking the loss instead of you guys. I'm sacrificing my own money for you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I gotta run. It was great to have you here today. I hope you got something out of it. Oh, by the way, if you are someone in the group who has learned a lot, made some advances, had some breakthroughs, made a nice trade, had some big moves to the upside, starting to learn what you're doing, blah, 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 and would not mind being interviewed, not mind being, get on a Zoom call with me. I'll just ask you some questions about what happened, what's going on. We would be like showing that as possibly a testimonial. And of course, if you're willing to do that, that'll be great. And this is not a bribe. I'm not paying you to do it. You have to legitimately want to do it. But of course, I do keep track of those people who help out with things like that. I'd be happy to put you on the list. I will be, by the way, we are offering, we did have the challenge, not the challenge, but the actual contest with Femex right now, which is going live. And it looks like a lot of you joined that, but any of you can join that anytime. You don't have to do anything. You just click a button and it automatically enters you in there, which gives you a chance to win money on trades for the rest of the month. I think we got until the end of August for that to finish. So if you guys, the links for that are in the announcements channel. But if you are willing to be interviewed, or if you want to give a testimony, feel free to reach out to me and I will reach out to you and we'll set it up. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'm still expecting some bullish moves back to the upside here. If we don't fall below and make the lower lows here, I'm still going to stay in my long position on Bitcoin, and I will let you know if anything there changes. All right, see you soon.